That's it.
Jen, where are you from? Oh, hi, Jen, by the way. Hi.
Hi.
Where are you from?
Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, suburb of Philly. Collegeville is my hometown.
Of course it is.
Well, hey,
So,
welcome,
go Eagles.
welcome to all our YouTube viewers, by the way.
Okay.
Welcome to them.
Hey, they're on early.
They are.
Aren't they?
They're on early because MJ's not here tonight, so I'm kind of having to do the technical end of things as well.
Yeah, because Kim's not ready.
So God help us all.
Kim's bartending.
I know. I like your setup, Kim.
Hear all the bottles clinging.
Too bright.
I was just fooling with my light too. You would think we know how to do this, right? With the lighting.
Yeah, but you know our rooms aren't set up for good lighting.
And don't we have people for that? I mean, really.
I just call someone.
I'm gonna have to get John Halden. I'll tell him tomorrow in case he's watching. I gotta get him to my house to light my office.
Jen, so you know Dina and Kim. This is Mark Massaro. We call him Maz.
Maz, okay.
He's a former TV meteorologist here in Cincinnati.
So how'd you guys fare with the ice yesterday?
It's awesome. No school. Kids loved it.
No school. Yeah, but it wasn't bad driving, was it? I didn't think it was.
I didn't leave the house yesterday. I was afraid.
Oh, good for you.
You know those weather people.
Weather Channel, all right.
That's right. Be very afraid. Okay.
Oh, Brady actually made it. Oh my God.
Brady.
He just walked out. I was
he can't hear us.
He made it on time. He didn't make it on time yet.
Sorta.
2 minutes.
Kim, can you move your camera a little bit to the right? Because the propellers are not like geometrically positioned.
Oh, me.
Oh, Dina.
Oh, did I say
Get
Kim?
your
I'm
names
sorry.
right,
Kim.
man. There,
I'm
wait.
sorry. Sorry, Bob.
Wait. Just call me Pat.
There you go.
All right. There.
I think
Now they're symmetrical. They're
you
good.
zoom in, you've
There
got
is
the Mouseketeer thing going on. So
We have exits in the front and to the side.
Jen, sound and look good. So
Okay, good.
that all.
This room is better. There's not as
Okay.
much echo.
Hey guys.
Kim.
Hey
Good.
guys. I am
We've
here.
been-
Hey
we've been-
Jen.
I've been hearing you for the last 5 minutes, but
Oh,
now
walking
we
around.
really hear
I know. You're gonna have to hang on a second. Okay, hold on.
you again. All right.
She's bartending.
I didn't share the link on Facebook. I don't know how to do that from my phone actually. To do
You did. Oh, no, you didn't do it on
I did
Facebook. I
Twitter.
saw it on Twitter. I saw you retweet. I didn't post it on Facebook yet.
Okay, well then good. Then
Facebook's
I
not
have
very
it.
timely. Don't worry about it.
All right, good.
Facebook sucks, in my opinion.
wow.
They're not very timely. It only gets to about a third of the people that are actually friends
Right.
with you.
And I feel like the same people only respond. It's always like a very small subset of. I
Right.
feel like I'm reaching of everyone. So.
Hey Phil, could it be that only a third of your friends really are your friends?
That could be. That actually would be big. That would be a large number if that were actually true. A third. I would take a third. Jeez, Kim's got an earthquake going on.
And
You
Brady
guys
actually
got some setups with the mics and.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
We go hard. We go real hard. This is our one time to shine, you know? This is our one moment of airtime that we get.
Brady, do you have yours in a place where you're not going to bump it and tap it and wiggle your feet and all that?
As long as I don't have more than one blue moon, I should be good.
Okay. Well, hey, I don't want to prevent you from having more than one. So if that's what it takes,
Yeah, I didn't know there was a limit.
that's what it takes.
Oh, there's no limit. I just my hands start to go everywhere when
He starts
Phil
moving.
knows.
He moves. He's one of those knee shakers.
He's
You
the
know,
answer.
that they bob their knees up and down all the time. super
You know,
fast.
you would think I am, Phil, but I'm not. I actually.
Oh, really?
I actually
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
Are you Italian?
does that. It
Brady?
drives me
Are you
crazy.
Italian?
My bad.
Brady, are you Italian?
I'm not Italian. I wish I was Italian. I think I'm English, French, Swedish, and German. So
Carfagno, that's Italian,
Yeah,
right?
I'm Italian.
Hey.
I'm half
Oh, yeah.
Italian. Half
Paisana.
Italian, half Polish.
Me too, Jen. Woo! The smartest ones over there in Europe.
It's true.
All right. Well, Kim, are you done moving all your shit around now?
I
Holy
think so.
cow, it makes a lot of
You know, my
noise.
lighting, I thought I had my lighting down. Now it looks like shit. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, by the way, we're live.
Oh, are we?
That's
Oh,
all right.
no.
Yeah, but no one's watching. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Yeah, no one's watching.
That's
No
all
one
right.
watches us.
Meet the real Kim.
They all know that already.
She's at the bar. She's mixing some drinks.
I gotta figure out how to get to our before we get started here. Get to our chat group, the chat box. MJ's not on tonight, so I gotta run this crap.
Wow.
Oh, lovely.
I'm never real good at it. So,
Phil, I think you do a
live-
great job.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay.
A bang up job.
In
All
other
right.
words,
Great job,
better
Phil.
you than us.
You got a raise.
It's great to me. I don't know different.
Live control. Okay. Yeah, and Jen, this is your first podcast, right?
Ever.
It is, Jen.
Wow.
I'm
You
excited.
are a
Awesome.
I'm a
you are a
podcast
podcast
virgin.
virgin. No
Yes,
more.
I am.
Hey,
No more.
no more, baby.
Tonight. Okay. Well, let's. Okay. How come no one's nothing? No one is watching us. I don't see anything on our live chat. I think
Yeah, it says
something-
there was an error loading your app. That's what mine says. I don't know
Oh,
what that
serious?
means for me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what it says. There was an error loading your app. This app couldn't open because it didn't provide required information. That's what mine says.
Oh.
Anybody else's
Yeah.
screen say that?
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah. Let me see here. Live. Let me go to this. See what happens. Oh, now we're live.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
did
we
I
weren't
do
before?
something? I just hit cancel.
Kim fixed it.
All
I
right.
did. I hit cancel and we're here. Guys, if I start coughing, I will apologize. I'll hit the mute button, but okay.
Yeah. Mute that cough. Mute that smoker's cough, Kim.
Oh my
She's
God.
cut it down to a
Please.
pack a day, man.
You know, I did go to Jamaica. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Oh, that kind of smoker's
No.
cough.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
No, Mom,
right,
Mom,
well,
I
here-
promise, Mom.
Here's
I did
here's
not.
what we'll
I
do.
won't.
So everybody mute your phones. As
Oh, yeah,
Kim
that's
said, if you do need to mute your mic, if you have to cough or if there's some noise in your background, no big deal. But if you go to the very top of your screen, one of the options or icons that you when you move your mouse up there is or your cursor, move your mouse, is the turn your mic off button. So feel free to do that. Just don't forget to turn it back on when you're ready to talk. Keep your mic close. I think everybody sounds pretty good. Keep your head near the top of your screen. Adjust your screen if you have to. It's just because everybody's little picture down below might cut your face off if your head's too low. And if you do get knocked off for any reason, just use that link to go ahead and reconnect like you did when you jumped on. Okay. All right. So what we'll do, we'll get started. We are actually the title. We're sponsored by Danner Boots tonight. Remember, I told you guys that boot company reached out to us.
Yeah.
This outdoor boot company.
Cool.
And wanted to partner up with us, and so they decided they would. So I'm going to quick little blurb there. Talk about Jen. Talk about what we're talking about. I will mention that we got recognized as weathergeeks.org's one of their top storm chasing websites. So I'll bring that up.
Woo.
We'll jump to happy hour. Jen, I see that you are joining us tonight,
Awesome.
which is
I'm ready.
good. So I will
She's got some wine.
go to you when we talk about what are you drinking. I'll go to you, but that won't be your formal introduction. As soon as we're done with that, and I'll try and get through that quick, I'm going to turn it over to Kim. Kim will introduce you, give you your formal introduction, start the interview process, and then as the interview seems to wind down, we'll go to the lightning round. Lightning round has something to do with the movie Groundhog Day.
Okay.
So
She loves a groundhog.
we'll do that. And then right after that, we're going to plug a book that Dina got that we're going to give away, a coloring book. And then we'll take a break. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll reconnoiter at that point. All right?
Say that word again.
Reconnoiter.
Good
Reconnoiter.
It's
I
from
don't
Tool
know.
Time.
I don't know if that's actually a word, Phil.
Yeah, it
I-
is.
I
I'm from Minnesota. That's
Maz, I don't know.
got to be German or Swedish or
Minnesotan.
something.
Could
You
be
guys
Canadian.
ready?
It could be Canadian.
Hey, I'm
I'm back.
gonna quick see if we have anybody chatting with us. Oh, we do have someone. Chris from Germany is on,
Woo!
Yay!
Chris.
Hey, Chris.
and Rhode Island Mapping. I'm not familiar. I don't know that I've seen them before. But,
Used to live there. Great.
So we got some
state.
people on. So welcome to our YouTubers. We'll go ahead and get started. Everybody ready?
Yep. Ready.
Let's do it.
All right. In 3, 2. Welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. This is the Stormfront Freaks podcast, brought to you by Danner Boots. The classic is available today. Every boot is handmade to hold up in unforgiving conditions and live up to our unyielding standards. The future is strong with Danner Boots and their Stronghold work boot. Hey, if you're a first-time listener, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to go to stormfrontfreaks.com to check out our library of previous shows and guests. But tonight, this is episode 46 of season 3.0, and we are celebrating Women and Girls in Science Day with the Weather Channel's Jen Carfagno is with us tonight.
Woo!
Hi, guys.
And
Jen.
we'll also be hearing about the inspirations and the challenges of being a woman in the weather world. And you need to stick around for this episode's WX resources, and you got to find out who made our weather fools because we got some good ones tonight. But I do want to let our freaks know we were recognized again. We don't get that all that often.
All right.
So
America's most
Give
wanted.
us some love.
I don't know, man. My grandma texts me every night or every
Same here, my mom.
second
always.
Thursday. Like,
So
good
here,
show
so
tonight, sweetie.
this time around, it was from weathergeeks.org. They happened to list us in their top storm chasing websites.
Cool.
So congratulations
Wonderful.
to our
Woo.
freaks and our show for that. And if you haven't, go to our Twitter account or go to our Facebook account, and we have a post highlighting that with a link to their list too, because there's some great websites. Our own Chris Sanders Tornado Titans was listed on there as well.
Nice.
So there's some
course.
cool
Where's
websites
Sandman?
there.
Yeah, where is he?
He's every other. He's in every other like Dina. So he's a part timer.
We'll see him in June, right?
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah, because now we're starting to get into storm season. We probably won't see him nearly as much. But hey, it's time to introduce our team. You know, it's always happy hour. It doesn't matter where you are, what time of the day it is. It kind of matters, I guess, if you're driving or at work. Might not be happy hour, but it's always the best way to introduce our co-host, let you know we're just kind of here having some fun and find out what everybody's drinking. So I always tell, feel free to join us. And we've got Maz. He's our former TV meteorologist in Cincinnati. Maz, what are you drinking tonight?
Okay, so I was a little under the weather this week, so I'm drinking the Kroger. I don't know if everybody has Kroger in their state, but it's the vapor distilled water with electrolytes, and it's got to have electrolytes because drinking distilled
Is
water.
it like Pedialyte? It's like Pedialyte.
Is that for kids? The children?
It's the adult version.
Then, yes.
Pedialyte is not for kids. You kidding me? I used that all throughout college. It was great.
What's the one for
After a
older,
drunken night.
what's the one for older people called?
Pedialyte.
Sure.
Depends.
No, no.
Sure. No.
No.
Well, you
Oh,
can
the
drink
something
Ensure.
sure.
Insure.
And sure,
Yeah,
that's
Right.
it.
I'm between Pedia
like
and
the
Ensure. I'm in the middle there, so I'm drinking the water.
All right. Fair enough. Dina is our weather producer for weather.com. She's in Atlanta. Dina, what are you drinking?
Well, you know, I usually like to get tanked up for these shows.
Yeah.
Pay attention by the end of the show. But you know, remember like last time I said I was doing that like 80-day fitness program.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking like a whey protein shake. So I haven't drank in like a month.
Way.
And I still have like 2 months left of this, so it's kind of pissing me off.
Wow.
But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But you know, no alcohol.
You know, I am going to say this.
That's
We're
hard.
0 for 2 so far
I know.
tonight.
I know.
That's not
Michelob.
good.
And I feel fine. I feel
Michelob.
great.
Oh,
I feel
Michelob.
great, but it's like working out every day.
All
And
right, well, Brady,
shakes.
Mr. Michelob, Brady, we'll jump to you. He's our atmospheric science graduate up in Columbus. Brady,
Yeah,
Come on,
well, I
you gotta
don't
pull
have
through,
a
baby.
Michelob. Don't have a Michelob because I'm not on a diet. Thank God. I've done that before, and that's horrible. So I have a good old Blue Moon Belgian White. Just decided to be nice and plain tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I
You're
couldn't.
going up. You're going up in beers lately.
He's
he
growing up.
is. He must be
He's
making
growing
some
up.
money.
All
Yeah.
right.
Maybe.
He's
Hey,
past,
Brady.
Maybe
Pass
my
the
mom's
Natty
really
Light.
generous.
Hey, Brady,
So,
when
yeah.
you turn 30, that's when the diets start. I'm just telling you now. Okay, so-
No, dude, the
Yeah.
diets have already started, man.
Oh,
the
okay,
diets
okay.
have already
Oh,
started.
It's
you're
downhill.
too young.
Yeah.
Downhill from there. All right,
Yeah.
Kim.
Yes.
Kim, former Weather Channel Met in Atlanta. Inspire us.
Yes, I will inspire you with a double
Ooh.
IPA.
Ooh.
How is it a double?
It's-
How's it a
It's
double?
a double. It's actually double jeopardy, I should say.
Oh.
It is a double IPA. It's a scofflaw brewing company out of Atlanta. So I'm always trying to promote the locals, and it's really good. It's very popular, by the way. And I'm drinking it, Jen, you'll recognize this, out of the Blue Ridge Brewery pint glass.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh.
Yes, that is a great little brewery, by the way. But yeah, that's what I'm having, and it's very tasty. And unlike you guys, when I was sick for 13 days, I still had a glass of wine every night.
That's shocking.
I did.
That's shocking.
And I think that's why I'm not sick anymore. So anyway,
Yeah, 13 days. I don't know if it was.
that's
the
pretty
wine.
big.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. Well,
I
hey,
feel for you, man.
I'm celebrating Women in Science Day.
Kool-Aid.
I've got pretty close.
Gatorade.
No, I've got. It's a combination of blue curacao, some Malibu rum, and some Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Ooh,
Oh,
it's
nice.
pretty though.
Very
Somebody
interesting.
drink.
That is nice.
Cheers-
Did
cheers to
you,
each
did
of
you
you
make
and-
that up?
I did. It's what we had in the cupboard, and I'm a Diet Dew fan, so
Yeah.
that's what we made. It's actually damn
Alright.
good.
What do you
Yeah.
call it?
It
That
looks
would
like
be
a
my
sky
signature
with
drink.
clouds.
I don't know. You guys can come up with a name. So at some point tonight, you guys can think of a Phil name for
I'll
that.
get on that, Phil. I'll get
All
on
right,
that.
you do that. And
Goes
hey,
in blue.
we don't want to leave out our guest tonight. Is joining us out of the green room, Jen. What are you drinking
Yeah.
tonight?
Well, this is the hour before I go to bed. So every night, a glass of wine.
Good.
Always in the
Nice.
same glass.
That's healthy.
You see it, the flip flops. Every night. It is healthy. This is how I fall asleep and sort of get rid of all the noise and the kids and everything else in the house. So this is a Montepulciano, but this was all I had left. So I've got a Z Alexander just for backup because I heard what you guys said drink on the show.
Bring it out of the box.
Talking to
God.
Canadina.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Good.
I've tried all those diets too, and I can never give up the wine. So I don't know. Every night.
Bring that keg in here, guys. Just
All
pour it
right,
in here.
Jen, make a book. Come on, everybody's making a book. You can make the wine diet book.
Oh,
Now-
there you. That's a
Jen
great
Carfagno,
idea.
That's
wine
right.
diet book.
And Jen, I remember, working the early shifts with you. It was like, okay, glass of wine and then maybe a little melatonin to
Yes.
go with it.
That's a great cocktail. Yes,
It
I do
is.
that. I do still do that.
Yes, and it puts you to sleep very
They put
easily.
you out. You don't hear anything for 4 or 5 hours, and then you have to get up. It
Nice.
works.
So does a
Yes.
hammer.
You hope
Nice.
you get up.
They
Yeah.
get audited by the FDA. Okay, hey, now that everyone's getting loose, let's go ahead and actually give our guest a formal introduction.
Okay.
Kim, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. All right. I am very honored to do this, first of all. I think many of you know Jen. If you watch the Weather Channel, she's the co-host of AMHQ from 5 to 9. Jen, I didn't realize it was a 4-hour show now. Is that right?
It's a 3-hour show, but I'm on for 4 hours. You
Oh.
know how that goes. So
Because
I'm on
they love
5 to
you.
6.
They love you. They love you. They love you. All right. Monday through Friday. And she earned her BS or bachelor's degree in meteorology from Penn State, another Penn Stater. And it's from Philadelphia. And Jen, I imagine you're a Phillies
Eagles.
fan and an Eagles fan.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this was
They-
big
they
for
was
you.
great.
Congratulations. All right. She began her career at the Weather Channel as an intern. And that was a year before she graduated. And I remember meeting Jen. And what I remember the most was her smile. I just
Aw.
remember that beautiful smile she had. I thought, wow, she's going to go far. Anyway, so she came to the Weather Channel full time in 1998 after she graduated. And in the early years, I remember she worked, I believe, as like a liaison with the National Weather Service
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a while.
Good
So
memory, Kim.
yes, with Ray Ban. And also at the same time, she was in the apprentice program like I was. And she did great. And a lot of you may remember her in the overnight hours, kind of like we all did in the apprentice program. And then eventually they got smart, hired her full time on the on-camera side. And as a matter of fact, Jen worked with me and Nick in First Outlook for a couple years. She was the
Yeah.
travel expert. I also worked on Your Weather Today. And then eventually she moved on to bigger things. But what I remember about Jen too is what a hard worker she was, and what a great inspiration to a lot of people. Always kind, always pleasant, never a bad thing about anybody. And I saw this firsthand working with Jen. I knew that she was going to be on to bigger and better things. And she eventually worked her way to anchoring the #1 show on the Weather Channel, and that's where she is now. Besides all this, Jen also has taught Meteorology 101 to a lot of the people at the Weather Channel that needed to know about the weather before they wrote, a lot of their stories about weather, the producers, the directors. So a lot of people at the Weather Channel who weren't meteorologists, she would teach along with Stu Ostro, this class that would help them kind of get an idea of what weather was all about. But also has developed and led weather camps around the country and continues to speak to students about a passion of hers, which is science, of course. And of course, Jen shares with me a love and respect of dew points. another reason that I love Jen. And on a personal note, Jen is married to an awesome man, Neil, who is also a meteorologist at the Weather Channel on the IBM side. They have 2 beautiful daughters. Jen is an avid runner, always doing marathons, even with her daughters. Of course, she loves Italian food. And she loves family tradition. That's what I know about Jen, especially during the holidays. Jen, we are so happy and honored to have you, especially this month honoring women in science. And, I was trying to think of a great question to lead into you. And I thought, what, the one thing I don't think I know about Jen is how she got into weather. I mean, what started you on this path? Everybody's got a story.
Everyone has a story, and most meteorologists have like a big storm. Kim, I know your story is the Xenia tornado, and that wasn't my story. But by the way, just thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And we've worked together for so long, and I feel like we do know each other well. But I'm impressed by how much that you know about me.
I'm a big fan, Jen.
I'm a big fan of yours as well. I was always into the weather. From a young age, I grew up actually in Collegeville, which is a suburb of Philly, and we had everything. We had big snowstorms, the blizzards in the 80s that were over my head. And as a kid, that wasn't that big, but it was enough to make me think just in awe of being outside and in the weather. But there were a couple of notable events. Hurricane Gloria. And I was in the 4th grade, and we had off school, and it was just raining. And I really didn't know much more than, that it was raining. And we're watching it come down, and we weren't allowed to go out and play. And I'm just peeking out of the garage. It was lifted just a little bit. And I remember thinking, what makes hurricane rain so special that we don't have to go to school? Because it was just a rainy day, right? And so I had no idea about the flooding and everything else that was happening. So that was one event. We had big hail at one time in the summertime. I think I was in the 6th or 7th grade. And, I remember just sitting at the window, watching it come down, thinking, how does that happen up there? I mean, how did it even get up there in the first place, right? Meanwhile, my parents are scrambling to get the cars in. That was another instance. Just a number of different weather events. And I watched the Weather Channel. I used to watch Jim Cantore and Mark Mancuso every morning before I went to school, the Italian Stallion Power Hour in the morning.
I remember that.
Yeah. I planned my day by, I knew that the International Business Forecast came on at 46 minutes past the hour. And I can still remember that clock.
Oh my gosh.
Today. And so all of this just added to me being interested in weather always, but I never really thought it was like a possible career for me until one of my high school math teachers had a bulletin board for careers for people who were interested in math. Yeah. And he was my calculus teacher, and meteorologist was one of them. And it was a crossword puzzle, and it was up on the big bulletin board. And I remember it was like down name. I can picture it to this day. So I was like, oh, I could be a meteorologist. Yeah. And then just went from there.
Awesome. It always seems like it's some kind of a weather event there that really gets people like, wow, how does that happen?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome, Jen. All right, you guys, anything else you want to ask her before we move on?
Do you know you've made it, Jen, because your introduction was way longer than Cantori's.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was.
It was, and it was a lot.
I'll tell you.
It's way
I will
sweeter.
use that with him the next time I'm trying to do the tropical update instead of him. So
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Miss Jen, did you have anybody, did you have maybe a mentor, somebody who helped you through your career, or somebody you kind of looked up to?
I have to credit a lot of my high school teachers. I mean, none of them meteorologists, but and really my friends and family too. Everyone really supported my interest in weather. And there's not a lot of people who are meteorologists, right? I mean, did you guys know any meteorologists growing up?
No.
Personally?
No.
So you don't really see that as a career option, right? You see teachers, you see doctors, and you see a lot of other things. But that doesn't, I think, strike most kids as something you can do when you become an adult. And I just really think, teachers that, one was a pilot. He was my homeroom teacher, and he knew about my interest in weather and also actually interested in flying too. And Dina, we've shared that before.
Yes.
And he had his pilot's license. He gave me some of his textbooks to borrow. And then I realized how much it was about weather when it came to learning to become a pilot. And that just strengthened my interest in weather even more. So it was definitely experiences like that.
Yeah. I mean, I started in aviation and realized weather was so intertwined with it. And I could actually get a job.
Yeah.
and didn't have to fly freight and mail and all night long for it, but it is intertwined.
On your wall back there, Dina. I love your decor.
Oh yeah, my little propellers back there.
So Jen, tell us a little bit about your path then through the Weather Channel, because it sounds like for the most part you've been there, pretty much your whole career.
Yeah, which is rare.
Which is rare, right? So I guess tell us a little bit about how that path worked and why you stuck around when maybe there could have been other opportunities.
And even just getting to the Weather Channel as an intern, again, it was a situation where I really didn't think anybody got to work at the Weather Channel. It was a select few, like Jim Cantori and Mark Mancuso, who I knew from watching. Janetta Jones was on at the time. It didn't strike me as something that I could do. But then I had a college professor, was Lee Grenzi, and he suggested I apply for the position. I did. I got it. And then I came there and I was like, wow. I mean, it was so impressive to be at the Weather Channel. And yet at the same time, everyone there, I've been expected to walk into a movie studio, right? All glam, and it just wasn't like that. It's very much a weather geek hangout, just like this all the time.
So tell me then, I'm going to go through a little list here, because you've been there for a couple years. Who's the brainiest person that you've worked with? The one that's their numbers, they're all about the science of weather. Who would you say that would be?
Greg Postel. That guy is on another level. He is.
Posty?
Posty. He writes these discussions for us internally about what's happening. And I got to go get my textbooks out and look up half the vocabulary in there. It's there.
So, next one is
probably Forbes too.
Yeah, Forbes too. Yes.
Okay.
And he was my professor.
Who's the funniest person you've worked with that will get you in stitches early in the morning, or even when you were there before?
Oh gosh, these are hard
That's
questions.
A good
Everybody, we have such a great time at work. I would say Reynolds. Reynolds can crack me up. Yeah, Reynolds will. But Stephanie can too. So we have a good time in the morning.
Okay, next one is who is the Jekyll and Hyde? Who's the one that there's two personalities? You don't know which personality you might get. But there's time of the day.
Right there.
Yeah, it is.
Time of the day. You never just know, but it's kind of that too, because I always get that. They say there's the fun Phil and the business Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't forget the drunk Phil.
That's right.
That's the fun Phil.
We like drunk Phil.
Yeah.
Can I plead the fifth on this one? I mean, I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Who do you like?
Well, that's a loaded question, man.
You might be able to ask me that. You might be able to ask me that.
Two more. Who's the best morning person? Who's the one that doesn't need to get started in the morning?
Right now, believe it or not, well, I mean, Kim and Nick, we were all great in the mornings, I have to say. Everyone I've worked with is amazing in the morning. We get there and you have to get right to it. We don't get there that early before the show, so you really have to bring up everything right away. And anyone who's worked mornings knows that. And so I think every morning crew that I've been with has been just fantastic. But Cantori is one that you wouldn't think is you would think he likes to stay up late, and he does. But he gets up in the morning and he's on the minute he walks in the door.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. And then the last one, who's the biggest party animal?
It's Carfagno.
Let's see.
Who's
Little
the one
things
that
you
will always
didn't
get the party
know.
started?
I mean, is it Kim?
It might be.
It might be.
Dina and Kim.
Carl Parker, you guys don't know. He goes to all these Rush concerts and he travels with them.
I've got a Rush
across the
t-shirt
country.
on. Rush.
Ah!
Yeah,
way.
there you go.
Who is this?
Carl Parker. He's one of
Carl.
our storm specialists.
Oh my
Alright.
gosh.
Yeah, he's a huge
I
Rush
still
fan.
can't believe Carl Parker had long hair once.
Yeah.
He said he had long hair once. I can't. He's
I
like
haven't
the
seen a
clean
picture,
cut, you know,
Yeah.
to think
I
of
know.
him as partying
And
with
he-
long hair.
And he talks so, I don't know. You would never think that he was a partier.
No.
Right.
Looks can be deceiving. I had a fro. Believe it or
Oh,
not.
no. I want
Oh.
pictures. I want
True
pictures.
story. Yep.
Wow. I don't know if I believe that.
So Jen, I know you like dew points, and I was looking here. Is this correct? You've been labeled the Dew Point Diva.
Yes.
Is that correct?
So you know who gave me that nickname? Jeff Morrow. Do you guys remember?
Yeah,
Jeff Moore.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeffaroo.
Jefferoo. So we were co-anchors for about a year or two, and he was just like, "Stop it with the dew points." And so after a while, that's what he called me. And I'm truly not a diva, although I guess maybe some people don't believe me. But
You are
it's,
not a diva.
No, she's not.
I just think they're really useful and very underappreciated. Don't you guys agree?
I
with
agree,
dew points?
Jen.
agree.
100%. I
I
agree. You could tell so much by a dew point.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
That you can.
If I
Awesome.
had
Kinda leads
one
me-
piece of weather data every day, that's what I would want. And
Yeah.
if I could only get one thing, I could deal with that.
Yeah. That's all you need, really.
Yeah.
It really is. I agree. Wow.
So where's
Agreed.
Dew Point depression in this whole thing then?
Oh.
Oh god.
Well, I mean,
It's when she
Depressed?
can't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a dew point depression.
Depressed.
She gets depressed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
we-
Jen, tell me a little bit about. So obviously you've in your career had to follow a lot of different storms. I guess tell me what's the hardest storm that you've had to follow closely, and why would you say that was the one that really hit home?
Well, obviously Katrina, and I think that's most people's answer at the Weather Channel because it was, just such a severe event. And for me, I was just pretty young. I mean, I was in my 20s, upper 20s, and hadn't had a lot of experience on TV just yet, and just trying to figure out the right way to present the urgency, gather the data. And this was really before there was a ton of information out there on the internet. I mean, right now you can get everything, right?
Yeah.
But just trying to find what was closed, what was happening, not just from a weather standpoint, but from a news standpoint. All of that information was not as quick to come in as it is today. So there was that challenge. And just, sort of grasping the magnitude of the human disaster that was happening and dealing with that at the same time as trying to communicate it on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pre-Twitter, pre-Facebook.
Yeah.
Pre-everything with, people weren't Snapchatting and Instagramming.
Right. Do you think that's your biggest challenge still today, Jen, that it's that balance of being calm, but at the same time, the urgency that people need to, adhere to?
Yes. And not, and being urgent appropriately. Sometimes I just think my personality is when I feel scared for a weather situation, I'm not loud. I'm not, I talk fast, and that doesn't necessarily get the word out. So it's just making sure you communicate appropriately. And that's, really hard to do when you've got your feelings involved along with, the weather that you're trying to forecast.
Are you nervous now?
Am I talking fast?
Not for me.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, I was thinking to you.
So Jen, you mentioned that you sometimes have to fight with Cantori over during the tropical update. Do you guys get to decide that, or is that something that like management will tell you, or do you guys kind of get freedom to decide that?
He wins every time. He always
wins
wins
everything. Although Jen could take him. I bet Jen could take him.
I think so
we
too.
share. We share. I mean, he does actually get the tropical update all the time, but everything else we try to, every other day kind of thing, and be as fair as possible because we all want to talk about the active weather.
Yeah.
Right.
So how does that work? How do you like, hey, there's 6 categories. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. And you get the rest, or how does that work?
Well, the producer of the show, putting together the rundown basically assigns it. And so it's just, It's like, oh, so-and-so did this segment yesterday, we'll switch today kind of deal. It's truly as fair as could possibly be.
Cantori's paying people off early. Is that the deal?
Probably.
Extra case.
I get there first. I should be bringing coffee and donuts every day.
Yeah. Don't say that, Jen. You should have said that now.
Jim's listening.
He's gonna come in tomorrow and go, "Where's my donut, Carfagno?"
You're gonna listen to us anyway. It's all right.
Oh, he might. You don't know, especially since Jen's on. He might be watching.
Yeah, well, he's always on Twitter, so I'm sure he saw it come through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jen, when you were in school, did you have a lot of other like females in the meteorology program? Because I'm trying to think back, and there were a few women in atmospheric science with me, but it was definitely probably a quarter to like.
Sorry, we have a little
men.
Oh, hello,
Hey. We're celebrating women and girls in science.
Well, I've got two science fair participants right here, so I'm proud of them for that.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. And which, by the way, we need to talk about that later, because I was overall underwhelmed with how many kids did the science fair. But that's another topic. To answer the question that Dina posed, I would say there was 45 students in my graduating class, and there was less than 10 women, right?
Really? Yeah.
So, but we all, the class as a whole really worked together well. But I would say especially the women sort of, supported each other pretty well to get through the hard curriculum. It's hard.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see, even like with my kids are in elementary school and they have a whole STEM program now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see, that there's more attempt at least to get not only boys but girls too in actual science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I think maybe there was 3 or 4 in my class, women, and the rest were men.
So, I don't think it's a college problem. I think the problem is much younger.
They just didn't want to. Yeah, they just maybe just didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question is why they choose to get meteorology before that, not at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Jen, do you like going out in the field?
I do, and Kim, that's pretty more recent for me, because when we worked together, I was always in studio. And one thing I really had to work on to get out in the field was just to make my whole presence bigger so that the weather didn't swallow me up. Yeah. And so that's something I have been working on for years, and I feel like it's getting better. Obviously, they're sending me out, so I guess it is.
Yes.
And I think there's no better way to truly understand and communicate the weather that you're forecasting than to experience it.
Right.
So I feel like it's made everything about my presentation better just by being out in the weather.
So do you prepare like on the plane? When do you do your preparation before you get up early probably and look up stats, things like that? So what's your protocol? What do you do to get ready?
When I go out, because I don't usually know where I'm going until the last minute. So it's on the plane. While I'm packing, I'm Googling things just to find out local tidbits about the area and just know, specific logistics about, how the storm is going to affect that local area. And, often we're going out a day or two before the event happens. And so that's helpful. So I can kind of ramp up a little bit.
That's good.
But, I'm sitting at my desk in my hotel room with my, glass of wine that I get from room service for the bar downstairs. On those little pieces of paper, taking lots of notes.
Yeah, I bet.
Before you go on the air, is that?
It relaxes you, man. It loosens it up,
Yeah.
It loosens you up.
No judging.
She doesn't talk as fast, okay? All right.
Slows it down. It's raining.
I imagine how tough is it to coordinate like with the girls? Like, does Neil take over when you're gone? What happens?
It's a family effort because my sister lives nearby and she really helps out tremendously when I'm out of town. Neil, we sort of have it arranged right now where he does all the mornings and I do all the afternoons and evenings, and that works out really well. But then when I go out of town, everything sort of gets turned upside down. So I've had nannies and my sister, and my kids are amazingly amenable to anything. So they're very flexible.
Oh, that's great. I think it's great for kids, really.
Especially, and I have boys and you have girls, but I think it's good to have your children see you working hard, knowing that women can work hard and get ahead too.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite situations or stories about this was Hurricane Matthew. and it was happening over my daughter's 10th birthday, and we had a big, double digits, and we had a big skating party planned, and they asked me to go out, and I really wanted to go. I mean, this was Hurricane Matthew. At the time it was a Cat 5, but I really didn't want to miss her birthday. And I said, I'll go, but can I come back on Thursday? The party was on Friday. And they said yes, but I knew that there was no intention of bringing me back.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Jen, we can't get you a flight.
And so I remember that Thursday just having a long text conversation back and forth with Kelly. And I knew at the same time she was actually texting with her teacher, because I had all her texts coming to my phone, so I could see what was happening. And it was very mature, and her teacher helped her just sort of, work through her feelings. And Kelly texted me back and said, Mom, I know you've got to help people and make sure that they know what's coming. So please stay there.
Aww.
We'll celebrate my birthday another time. And I was in tears, right?
She must have got a good present.
Yeah. Hey, Jen, is that the daughter behind you with the butcher knife? Is that the one right now?
She had to look.
Well, that was probably the other one, but
That's true, Jen.
All right. Well, hey, Jen, do us a favor. How can our listeners find and follow you on social media?
All right. So that's easy. On Twitter, it's Jen Carfagno. And same thing on Instagram and Snapchat. Oh gosh, I never do Snapchat, so don't worry about that.
I was gonna say, damn, you're a Snapchatter.
You guys tried Snapchat? I mean, Snapchat
it's terrible.
It's hard.
I'm a millennial, and it's terrible. I hate it. Terrible.
I feel like nobody sees it, or if they do, I don't know. I don't know how to respond to anyone.
Yeah,
same face every time.
Isn't it gone immediately?
Going like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't it go away immediately or something? I don't know. 24
hours.
Something.
It seems like a lot of work for something to go away.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
It never fully goes away
on the internet.
Never fully goes away.
Let's jump. Everybody, it's time for our lightning round. This is our game show of brilliant questions for our guest. We always invite everybody to play along. Tonight, now this is new. We haven't done this one before. We're playing Don't Forget the Quote. Now, there is a game show, or used to be a game show called Don't Forget the Lyrics. And it went along with songs, and you had to kind of finish the lyrics to the song. Tonight, we're playing Don't Forget the Quote, and we're going to celebrate Groundhog Day by covering quotes from Groundhog Day, the movie, with Bill Murray. So,
I love that, Bill.
So, Jen, I know you've spent some time with good old Puxatawny Phil, and so I thought this might be appropriate tonight.
Okay.
So here's what I'll do. I'm going to give you a quote, and part of the quote's going to have a blank in it, and the blank is what you have to try and fill in. And if you don't get it, I'll start going down the row with our co-host and see if they can figure it out.
Okay.
So we'll start easy and we'll get a little harder as we go. So the first quote is "Don't drive blank." Don't drive
angry. Don't drive angry, Phil.
Very good. Very good.
Jen.
Nice. Off to a good start. All right. Second one. Woo! Watch out for that first step. It's a
doozy.
Very good.
Is this bad that I know this whole movie?
I don't know. This could get scary. We'll see. All right, the next one. There is no way that this winter is ever going to end as long as this groundhog keeps seeing his shadow. I don't see any other way out. He's got to be stopped, and I have to.
Oh, God, I can picture the scene.
Oh.
Right? This is where he's driving?
I don't know what scene it's from, but again, he's saying this: there's no way this winter's ever going to end as long as this groundhog keeps seeing his shadow. I don't see any other way out. He's got to be stopped, and I have to.
I have to pass.
Okay,
so
pass.
Like a buzzer.
Brady, I'm going to go to you first.
What? Well, I've never seen this movie before,
all right,
so
well, we're moving on.
Hold on.
Blasphemy!
Oh
Blasphemy!
Dina.
Okay.
Hey, he's never right.
Ohio
He's
State.
never right.
I don't see any other way out.
Wait a minute. Well, we'll talk
I
about
have to blank. Dina?
I'm guessing barium.
Nope. Close, but not quite. All right, Kim.
Stop him.
Stop him. Very good.
Oh.
Thank you.
He's got to be stopped, and I have to stop him. All right, back to you, Jen. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Phil, blank. Phil Blank? I thought that was you. Now, don't you tell me you don't remember me, because I sure as heck fire remember you.
Phil Connor?
Woo! Oh,
Woo!
I don't know.
Awesome.
Judges? All right, we'll give that to you. It's Phil Connors.
Oh,
Connor.
Connor.
Oh, she's close.
Connor.
Oh,
But we give it to you.
Fine. It's
Judge-
fine.
Judges okayed
Got
that
it.
one. Judges okayed. All right. Moving on to the next one. All right. Ned Blank. Needle Nose Ned. Ned the Head. Come on, buddy. Case Western High. Ned Blank.
Ned Ryerson.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Bing.
All right. We got two more.
All right, she's going good.
I was in the Virgin Islands once. I met a girl. We ate lobster. We drank pina coladas. At sunset, we made love like blank. That was a pretty good day. Why couldn't I get that day over and over?
Oh,
One more time. I was
Yeah.
in the Virgin Islands once. I met a girl. We ate lobster. We drank pina coladas. At sunset, we made love like blank. That was a pretty good day. Why couldn't I get that day over and over?
I don't know. Like dolphins? I don't know.
No, it was not like dolphins.
Rabbit.
Dina.
Oh wait, what did Kim say? Did
Make
she say
love
what?
like
nope.
what? It's not Kim. Kim, I didn't call you.
Exactly.
Chill out.
It's
I
cheating.
didn't know. I didn't know. I had to
I
be
don't know. I'm
clean.
guessing newlyweds.
No, it's not newlyweds. All right, Kim, now it's your turn.
Rabbits.
No, not rabbits. Maz. Make love like what?
Animals.
Close, but that's not. It is an animal. Brady, can you get it?
He's
Sea
just-
lions. I don't know.
Oh, wow, you got really close. Judges?
Wait, really?
No, we're not going to give it to you.
Oh,
I was in the Virgin Islands once, and I met a girl. We ate lobster. We drank pina coladas. At sunset, we made love like sea otters.
Sea
otters.
otters.
Oh, you were
Sea
close.
otters.
This
We were all
week.
close.
wow.
That's right. That's right.
All right, last one, Jen. You ready?
Yes.
All right. You want a prediction about weather? You're asking the wrong blank.
Oh, it's not groundhog. He said something else. But groundhog?
No, but what's the name of the groundhog and meteorologist? Give it
Groundhog.
All right.
Nice.
Way to finish strong. Yeah, we'll give that to you. So
All
yeah, you
right,
want a
Jen.
prediction about the weather? You're asking the wrong Phil.
Woo!
You know, and I kept wondering why I was getting all these tweets all day, telling me that I was making a bad prediction, and I'm like, I didn't even make a prediction. I didn't
I'm just
understand.
here
That.
minding my own
Oh, man.
business.
All right. Well, anyway, great job, Jen. Thanks for
All
All
playing
right,
along with
Jen,
us.
you did not disappoint us.
You did
Brady,
outstanding.
about Phil not being right, I need to address that.
All right.
He's always right, you know.
Yeah.
It's just the interpretation, right? Because you've got only one person that speaks
okay.
groundhogese. Sometimes
Okay.
he gets it wrong.
That's fair.
It's the
That's
human
fair.
interpretation.
That's fair.
That's fair. I'll tell you what, you can tell right now, Jen and Puxatawny Phil. I
They're
think
tight.
You know, they're
Yeah.
tight.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are.
Why aren't you the interpreter, Jen?
Well, I'm
You
not
got-
the president of the inner circle. I mean, you have to have
Okay.
the hat and the like cane. The
All right.
You have some cool
That's
hats,
a
Jen.
goal of
I've seen some
Jen.
cool hats.
I have
Uh-huh.
eight groundhog
Eight hats. Have you been doing
Yeah,
eight?
share the wealth. Wow.
How
All
many
right,
years you
hey.
been doing that, Jen?
Hey,
How many
everybody.
years?
Eight.
Hold on. How many years? 8 years? Oh my God.
It's lost control.
It's like Groundhog
Pretty
Day.
cool. All right. Hey, as part of our Women and Girls in Science Day celebration, we're actually giving away an adult doodle and coloring book I had to be careful when I first said that, right? This is an adult doodle and coloring book by former Weather Channel meteorologist Heather Tesh.
All right.
It's titled Hair Doodle. And actually, Dina had a chance to talk with Heather and get the book. Dina, tell us a little bit about the book and Heather.
Yeah, Heather came out with this book. She did it herself. She had it published, and it's mainly like an adult to teenage kind of coloring art book. And it was really cute. And she had given me a copy, and I said, you know what? We need to she's got a ton of followers. Everybody loves Heather.
Mhm.
And so she gave me a copy that we could kind of give away or raffle off. And it's a signed copy.
Oh, awesome.
So I've got it here.
Now, Dina, weren't
yes.
some of the hairstyles in there, weren't they like, some Weather Channel people? She kind of
I don't know if she
Oh,
really
did some
really?
Weather Channel people?
Some
I
of them.
thought maybe, but okay.
But well, she never told me that. But
Yeah.
some of these I think are
See, there's Vivian Brown. I don't know. I
I don't know, but
I kind of felt like she
I mean,
mimicked
they
it
are
off
really
of.
pretty.
Yeah.
But like looking through here, I don't know if I see. I don't know resemblance to really anybody. It's
Okay.
hard to tell, but
Okay.
book very colorful.
Kim, is
very
your
fun.
hairstyle in there, Kim?
Oh my gosh, which one?
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
hey, you guys can find. I know that book is on Amazon. I saw it on Amazon. It's called Hair Doodle. It's by Heather Tesh. But if you want that signed copy, what you got to do is you visit our pinned posts on our Twitter and Facebook accounts. Just go ahead and follow the instructions to be able to enter the drawing. You can find us on Twitter at Stormfront Freak or on Facebook at Stormfront Freaks. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. Our podcast listeners get to hear the latest edition of the Titans U Minute with Chris Sanner as he continues his talk of weather models. So go ahead and stay right here. We'll be back to hear from Jen, Kim, and Dina as we learn more about the challenges and inspirations of women in meteorology. All righty.
All right.
Cool.
What about me? I'm gonna have something valuable to add to that.
No, hey, you might, but you're not headlining. That's all
No.
I'm saying.
And you've never seen Groundhog Day, for crying out loud.
What on
this
earth
weekend.
is that?
Tonight.
I don't know. To be honest, I didn't even know there was a Groundhog movie. That's
Oh,
me.
You're not a
God,
meteorologist.
didn't even
Oh,
know.
it's
I
on all the
challenge
time.
you.
I've been
You're like
paying
50.
attention.
You're not a real meteorologist. I'm
Apparently
sorry.
not. Apparently not.
All right, let's do this. So we keep going here. Jen, can you do me a favor and do a quick little sound bite? And if you can just say, hey, this is Jen Carfagno, the Weather Channel, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Okay. This is Jen Carfagno from the Weather Channel, and you are listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Yes.
All right, no blooper
Got one
reel.
try. Yeah,
I
that's
know.
real for
Hey,
Jen.
she's smart.
It's like she does it for a living or something.
Yeah.
No way. What?
I'll tell you, we unfortunately we had a blooper reel of the 2017 guest trying to say
Oh,
our name.
That was
I want to be
awesome.
on that. Can I do another one?
Yeah.
mess it up.
Wait, spill like get some wine and
Ugh.
that'd be
You're
funny.
listening to the Storm Freaks front. Right?
What the hell's your name again?
More wine.
Gary England was like,
He was awesome.
Oh, dude. He was like, this bot booted it. I'm like, what the?
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what we'll do. So coming out of the break, Dina, I'm going to have you just take it coming out of the break. So you can just say, hey, welcome back. Maybe mention something about February 11th being Women and Girls in Science Day, which is when the audio version of this podcast will actually get released. But maybe just mention something about the day. And then I'll kind of let you take it, and I'll tell Maz and Brady, certainly if you've got questions, stuff like that,
Yeah, no.
join in and
You guys
ask
have
some
the floor.
questions.
You guys have the floor.
But I really
No,
want
but you might
Jen
have
and,
questions. Yeah.
yeah,
Jen and Kim and Dina, I kind of want you to just chat about it and
absolutely.
Because we don't want to leave. Like we don't want to. I don't want to leave all the guys out.
No, actually,
Yeah,
I
They
think
might
the
have input.
perspective
but, like,
actually is,
yeah.
is interesting because what we might feel as issues might not even be issues. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
From the whole.
The issue is you.
Are you on
Oh, man.
Robitussin?
yeah, I thought he was going to be drinking Vicks instead of water.
That is Pedialyte.
Who poured wine earlier? I heard somebody pouring wine. It was like from this gigantic bathtub sound.
So, and
That was me.
That was Jen.
me. I only had a
Oh,
tiny bit from that other wine, so I had to refill. I've actually got 2 beverages because it's nighttime.
all right. So, and Maz, because you worked in TV meteorology too, I mean, you certainly asked some good questions. We might not have as much input, but I certainly want you to be able to ask questions. But my goal is this: our podcast. We'd love to have fun. We love to have a good time with our guests, and that's really what we've become. It's just kind of something fun for people to listen to with people from the weather industry. We're not a sciencey podcast. We're not that. But I do think this is an opportunity to use this day and especially with the culture of our country right now and everything else, to kind of go, hey, let's use this as an opportunity, hopefully, to inspire and educate and encourage other women and girls that are interested or might be interested and are maybe getting discouraged from other places, and to hear from certainly the three of you, and you've overcome shit, right? I mean, you've overcome stuff that everyone else will face, but you've found a way to overcome it. So what can you teach the other girls and even the other women now in meteorology to help them get through it? And I just hope that maybe this is an opportunity for us, to have fun, but also to maybe help some people. I mean, that's ultimately
and to speak to the guys too, and what we can change, right? It's not only, you guys don't have to only
change
cope
your
with
attitude
it, right?
completely.
What we can change. Yeah.
And watch Groundhog Day.
I'm working on it, all right? I'm working on it.
Watch
All right.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Turn it around.
Dina, I will count you in. Are everybody ready?
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm getting low on my drink here, but all right. 3, 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to Stormfront Freaks podcast. We're celebrating women and girls in meteorology and TV broadcasting. And February 11th is the Women and Girls in Science Day, where we want to inspire and encourage other young girls and women to get into meteorology and science. And we have Jen Carfagno joining us today. And Jen, the one thing I've always loved and respected about you is that you always can handle yourself no matter what situation. Like if there's things that upset us at work or challenges we have, you always seem to handle it very professionally. And for young girls coming up or even in the workplace now, I would say, like, I always like, even now being in weather for so long, I like to hear how a woman handles certain problems and how they get through it.
Mhm.
You know, like, because you're going to probably face the same thing. So how did you deal with it? So, if you've ever been, like, say, mansplained or something like that, like, like, how do you handle things like that?
I would just say overall, I think for girls and boys, as kids growing up, confidence is one of the most important things to teach, and not to feel like you're always right, but just to always feel like you can be confident in your opinion of what is right. And so that, and I still feel like I struggle with that. So I really appreciate your compliment. But doing your homework ahead of time, knowing your stuff so that you go into every meeting and, every scientific discussion and every challenge at work sort of prepared to, don't say defend, but really to defend your point of view and feel good about it. So, because if you don't believe in yourself, then of course, why would anyone else? So I think that it's always the pre-preparation or the preparation.
And I think that takes a long time, because I think it took me a long time too to really feel confident knowing that I know what I'm doing. I don't need to, explain it to somebody and prove my point all the time. Like,
I mean, how many times do you go home from work, and maybe not as much today, but certainly in the beginning of my career, I would, think, oh, I thought that was going to happen. I thought that snow band was going to develop there, but I didn't say anything. Why didn't I? And, I would kick myself in the back of my mind. Why didn't I say something? And I still do today, honestly. So I still have trouble speaking up when, when it's sort of a risk to do so. So that's a challenge that I think is just a work in progress for everyone.
That's so funny you said that, Jen, because I remember, like, an example would be Matt Crowther, who always had the confidence to say what he thought no matter what. And I thought, gosh, I would love to be able to just blurt out what I'm thinking. But then I was afraid, like, oh my gosh, I may be wrong. And they're going to remember that I was wrong about it. But he never had that fear. And I remember thinking that, gosh, that would be why do I not have that confidence?
Yeah.
Because just say what I think. And I might say it quietly to somebody else. And then, gosh, I was right the next day. And they might say, gosh, Kim, you're right about that. Oh, well, dang it. Why didn't I speak up and say that?
Right. And even say it on air, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Even on air. Exactly. Yep.
Actually, Mads, I'd like to hear your point of view. Do you feel that, when you are, let's say, making a risky forecast that, has a high bust potential, do you feel concerned that you're going to give bad information or just, put out there what you...
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do partly is with experience.
Mhm.
Even though you might scientifically know what's going on or think you really know what's going on, you sometimes defer to people who've been there longer.
Yeah.
Even if you're kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, well, they must know more because they've been here longer. And that's not always the case. And if any of my people from other stations are listening, I'm not talking about you guys at all, for sure. Okay, so just want you to know. But yeah, and I was thinking something else too. Because when I watched you all on TV, I would never think that any of you have any challenges with confidence ever. And I
Yeah.
watched Kim, Jen, I watch you, I watch everybody there. And as a meteorologist who's been in the field for a while, probably too long, because now science has gone past me for all the new technology. But I watch and I'm like, nope, they know what they're talking about. I don't ever think, oh, he or she, especially if you're thinking the she side. I would never think that. And I'm really glad. I'm going to add on to a separate part of the conversation here. I think going to schools is such a huge thing for meteorologists to do and go and talk. When you go and you talk weather, whatever it is, you're not talking to just guys you're just talking to the class, and everybody gets treated the same. And I think starting that at a young age, I think that's where these kids go, hey, you know what? Maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
That's something I could do. And I think just the more that the meteorologists around the country continue to do that, I think you're going to see an evening out of male and female on the air. I really do. I think it's just because it'll become like it shouldn't be accepted. Of course, it should be accepted. But I think if people think it's not accepted,
Right.
it's going to become 50-50. I think in Cincinnati, I think we actually have more women on the air than guys.
Yeah.
I think that's evening out. Like you said, I think where it's still uneven is like up to the PhD level.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I'd love to see more women PhDs coming through. Because I'm like, especially ones who are like really good math.
Right.
God bless you if
Right.
you do it. But that's, I think, the one I think that on camera is evening out. I think
Yeah.
high level PhD is what needs to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's hard because once women get to that time in their life when they're working on their PhD, they get married, they're thinking children. I mean, I just feel like there's that it's competing with that internal clock. And I think that's why you don't see as many women going on to the PhDs. I think that's part of it anyway. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. What do you think, Jen?
Well, I was going to say, just to use actually the on-camera meteorologist and the chief meteorologist at TV station comparison, I don't think you see as many women chiefs for two reasons. One, there's just not as many women in the field. And two, I think it might be choice. I think a lot of women may choose to work mornings. I mean, I certainly have, if my preference is available, I'm going to work mornings so I can be home with my kids in the evenings. And it's hard to balance family and work. And so
I agree, Jen.
Reason.
I hated working evenings. I did. That was a huge, it was a huge sacrifice for me as a mom that I wasn't home when the kids got home from school.
Yeah.
I didn't have dinner waiting for them. And it's just because that's something I wanted to do. So I agree 100% that I think chief meteorologist positions, there's a lot of negatives to it for women, especially. And so a lot of it is by choice, I think. I agree.
Yeah, and a lot. I don't think a lot of dads sit there and think, "Oh, I feel guilty for being here at work when I'm providing for my family," compared to a woman who feels guilty for working when her kids are home. And I wish I was home making them dinner. I wish I was home when they got off the bus. I wish I was home helping them with their homework or tucking them into bed. There's so much guilt and so much pressure, and you see it in social media.
Yeah, you do.
It's like no matter what choice you make, somebody's usually on you about it.
Yeah.
So, and
That's
then
a negative
you internalize it even more.
I think, I mean, I actually think social media there's positives to it, of course. And just from a news gathering standpoint, I love Twitter. But, when it comes to all these other pressures, I mean, social media, you have to somehow blank it out.
What do you mean when you say, because I'm not understanding when you say on social media, you're hearing it a lot. Are there people giving you guilt trips?
I think there's more examples of people doing the things that you want to do. So like, not being there for your kids or it could be going on a professional level above and beyond, where you would like to go, but you're you can't
Yeah.
because you're choosing
Yeah.
to do more family, more things with your
Do
family.
you guys
Yeah.
think that's an innate mother thing, or is that learned society thing?
Both, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
think
both. But I
Yeah.
think we beat ourselves up more than anybody beats us up.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah.
Uh,
And I think most of it's internal. I mean, right? It's really nothing that anyone from the outside is doing to us. It's all what we're
Right.
creating inside ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
You wanna be
interested
the
to
best at
find
your
out.
job. You want to be the best mom. You
Yeah.
want to be the best spouse or whatever, and you want to be the best at everything. And it's very difficult to.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to just let things slide sometimes.
So I want to know, ladies, what's been your inspiration, whether it was either when you were younger or while you were working in your career? Who or what was your inspiration to? Jen, you talked about it a little bit, but to get into meteorology and to stick it out and to fight through the challenges that you have, what was that?
I certainly had, and as I said before, a lot of great role models as teachers. And I remember one science teacher in particular, Mrs. Russell. She was my chemistry teacher. And I always saw her as this woman who had it all together. I mean, she played soccer in the gym in the morning, with the kids. But then, she was going on to get her PhD. She was a great scientist. She was a great teacher, great communicator. And as a high school student, I thought she went and hung out every weekend and had fun. So I felt like this woman had it all, right? And I think she does. And so that was an example to me of something that I was striving for. But it really starts at home. And my mom actually went back to college when I was in college. So she never finished her degree before she had me. And that too was inspiring because she just, kept following her dream. And so I just think being in that environment, like showing your kids that if you have a goal, just keep working hard for it and it will come. And hard work always pays off.
That I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it bad enough, my motto in life is there is always a way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You may not see it clearly, but there is always a way. Because I mean, I grew up in a family that didn't really push women or girls to go to school. They just figured we would just get married and pregnant, and why bother with an education?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I realized that my inspiration is that I wanted to be able to take care of myself, to know that I can pay my own rent, buy my own clothes, take care of myself, and I didn't need anybody to do it for me. And that is really my inspiration above everything.
Yeah.
And I want my children to see that. I want them to grow up knowing they have a strong mother, that women are equal, that they should be treated with respect. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's really, because as a parent, you may, anybody, you're one person, you may not be famous, you may not be anything, and you may not have a big impact on the world, but you can have an impact on your children who may change the world.
Yeah. There you go, Dina. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I pray for every day.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're a great example of that.
What about you, Kim? Kim, I don't know what inspired you actually to, I mean, I know, you were in the Air Force and you got your training, but before that.
Well, I was thinking about this, and I don't think I've ever really thought about who really inspired me when I was young, when I was in grade school, because for me, The Wizard of Oz and then the super outbreak of 74, that all propelled me into my career or path. But as far as a woman that I thought, I want to be like this woman, meteorologist, there weren't any. I mean, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and there literally were, at least in Cincinnati, there were none on the local news. If you look in books, there weren't women meteorologists in any of the books, the encyclopedias we used to look at. And so I really didn't, to me it was, and I don't know why, but that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I was going to do. And so I know I've told this story where I wrote to one of the local meteorologists, Mike Fenwick, at the Weather Channel at Cincinnati. I think it was KRC TV. And I said, how did you get your training? And he said he got in the Air Force. And then as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I'm going to go in the Air Force. And so that's just how it went for me. And so I really didn't have a woman that I thought, I'm going to do this. I just thought, well, if he can do it, why can't I do it? Mm-hmm. And my mom, Jen, you talked about your mom. My mom was similar, where she may not have went back to school, but she was always there telling me, Kim, whatever you want to do, whatever you dream, whatever, you can do it. You just have to do it. Just do it. Nike had it right.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it. So she really was a huge influence on me on continuing to pursue that dream, even though the odds were slim for me to make a career out of it back then. And so for me, it wasn't until I got in the Air Force and started watching the Weather Channel that I thought, oh my gosh, there are women in meteorology. I saw Cheryl Lemke, I saw Janetta Jones, and Cheryl Lemke for me was it, because she was so polished. She had it down. And it was like, there's a woman meteorologist. I've never seen one on television before. So that to me was my inspiration to think there's something beyond not only the Air Force as a career for women in meteorology, but beyond that, outside the Air Force, that there are actually women who love weather besides me. I mean, it was just I can't even tell you guys how that was like, wow, that is so awesome, So anyway, so that's why I thought, I'm going to send an application to the Weather Channel. And then anyway, that's it for me.
And then you got the job, and
I got the job.
You started forecasting first, right? And then
I was behind the scenes for 6 years. And that to me, Betsy Abrams, you guys know Betsy. She is an incredible meteorologist. I've worked with a lot of meteorologists, and she was probably one of the best, I think, in the world for women meteorologists. Somebody who taught me so much about temperature forecasting, about local effects. Because remember, when I was forecasting at the Air Force, it was more of a synoptic scale forecasting. We did some point forecasting for severe weather in the Air Force bases, but temperatures and things like that, I didn't know anything about really. But she was so on it. She was like this person who was in sync with weather. She was riding the wave of weather. She could feel things. I can't even explain it. Like her and Matt were like these people that were one with weather. I thought, gosh, I want to be like that. I want to be able to be that way. Anyway, so she was an inspiration as well.
That's fantastic.
How about you, Nina?
Oh, I always say that Kim was my mentor, whether she knew it or not.
I did not know that, Dina.
I say this all the time. I guess not to you enough, but I mean, I always remember no matter what was going on in your life, no matter what was going on at home, no matter what was going on at work, with children, with family, you always had the best attitude. You were always happy. You were always happy to be there. And I'm like, God, I wish I could be more like Kim, and I get so pissed off sometimes. And I'm like, what would Kim do in this situation?
Is that why you got pregnant with twins? Because I had twins.
I was trying to follow suit, but it's like, it was always that same thing. Like, and Jen's the same way and like, I always hold her to the standard of brilliant women. Yeah. If they're really brilliant, they're Carfagno smart. Oh. That's what I say. And I say it all the time.
Wow. It's awesome.
They're Carfagno smart. And then, with Kim, it's like that great lust for life and happiness that just.
Yeah, Kim, you exude it. Yeah. I mean,
you do. Yeah. Like, I don't think I've ever heard you complain.
Yeah.
Really, ever. And we all get in that moment. We're like, oh my God. You want to complain about things. You want to complain about somebody who's bothering you, or you want to complain about your hours. You want to complain about something. Yeah. And I never heard you do that ever.
Oh, thanks, Gina.
I know.
Well, Dina,
I'll tell you what. Here's what I want to hear from each of you, all three of you. I want to know what's the kind of legacy that you want to leave to other women and other girls. What do you want to do, or what can you say that's a part of you, and that you want to go, if I'm going to leave a legacy, this is what I want it to be for other girls and women that want to pursue this industry. Jen, I'll start with you.
Okay, so I guess I'll go first.
Sorry, 10 words or less.
Yeah.
No, this is my personal philosophy, and I believe in hard work. I believe in confidence, and I believe in being humble. And I think if you can, do those three things well, that you'll be successful. And it has to be you have to internalize the success. It can't be what someone else sees. It has to be what you feel. And so that's, the end result.
Yeah, because you can't fake that.
Right.
No.
Mhm.
All right. Kim.
I think for girls and women who want to pursue a science field, I really believe that they need to pick something they want to specialize in. I feel like as far as leaving a legacy, for me, it was, I think what helped me was having that specialty in tropical and severe. And I think that's what helped me define who I was and how I got the job at the Weather Channel and how I used that to get to where I was at the Weather Channel before I left. So I feel like what I would like girls to think about is if they're going to pursue science and they want to be looked at as equals, and because we have to fight a little bit harder, at least still today we have to. Yeah. It's gotten better, but we still have to. I feel like if you just pick something in your field and specialize at it, like Jen, Dew Points. I mean, that's somewhat small, but that's the idea I'm trying to think of is pick something and be really good at it within weather. It doesn't have to be on camera. It can be, like Dr. Is it Kasiba? Studying tornadoes. Pick something to specialize in. And I think that's going to help get the respect that we all want. And I think women have to do that a little bit more. And you just have to work, like Jen, like you said, work really hard, pick something to specialize in, become an expert at that. And I feel like a lot of that respect will come, and they can't, you'd be irresistible, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they can't.
It's like creating your brand, Kim. I think it's what you're describing, like creating what's your brand going to be, and it's something that's going to describe you. So
exactly, I think that's necessary. Absolutely.
Dina.
Let's see. I would say, well, like I said this earlier, my philosophy in life is there's always a way. If you want something, and whether you're religious or not, I feel like God will find a way if you work hard enough to find the path. Like, just find a way. Like, I didn't know if I'd ever go to school or earn a pilot's license or something. And if you want it bad enough, you find a way. There is. So if you think maybe you're never going to go to college, or you can't afford it, or it's not for you, if you want it, there is a way. In this country, you can do it. And I kind of feel like as you do it, have some respect for yourself and others. Like, don't do anything to somebody that you would regret. Like my grandpa always said, don't do anything you wouldn't want on the front page of the newspaper. Well, now it's like on Twitter, but really, like, fight hard. Don't feel bad about fighting hard, but don't screw anybody on your way up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, be respectful so that you can look in your mirror every day and feel confident that you're, whatever you've done, you're proud of it.
Yeah, you're honorable. I love that,
honorable.
Tina. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, don't do anything that you wouldn't want anybody to know about it. If you don't want anybody to know about it, it's probably not something you should do.
Yeah.
So fight for it.
Good.
Don't worry about what other people think. Because it's so funny. I joke all the time, like, I don't care what people think. And
Gina, you're a tough cookie.
No,
you're a tough.
Well, they think they've made me. I'm like, but I don't. I go home every day. I'm happy. I have my family. I have my job. I'm like, I don't care. You either like me or you don't. And if you don't, well, don't listen.
Yeah. I've always admired that about you, Dina. Always, always, always.
Do you anybody else have anything else to add at this point?
Well, as a woman,
we need to get little curlers in his hair or something.
Hey, that's how I got the
facial
fro
mask. We can put a mask on him next time.
I'll tell you what, if you're listening, let us know what you think on the subject. You can always email us at questions@stormfrontfreaks.com, or find us on Twitter or Facebook and tag us your thoughts so we can share that on the next show. We're going to go ahead and take our final break. The rest of you can refill your drinks. And when we come back, it's time for our co-hosts, WX Resources, and we're going to find out who made our list of weather fools. All right. Great job, guys.
Yeah,
awesome.
Well done.
That was really fun. Thank you.
Philosophical.
Yeah.
It was. Oh my gosh.
Being a psychologist on the show today.
I laughed. I cried. A little of everything.
There's so many emotions. That's all the moisturizing mask on.
Jen, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for including me. This was really
Thanks,
fun.
Jen.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. Great job.
Love you.
Okay, good night, everyone.
All right, good
Yeah.
night.
Good night. That's right. It is
Jen,
late.
I will, as I mentioned to you, I'll send you an email probably early next week, just with some links.
Perfect.
In
And
case
then I
you're
can share
interested.
on
But
all the
yeah,
socials.
the audio podcast will edit that, and that usually gets posted on Sunday. So
Okay, cool. I'll put it
thanks for
everywhere.
making a
but Snapchat.
difference. Yeah,
right.
thanks for making a difference. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks,
Jen.
Jen.
Thank you
Bye,
guys.
Jen.
It was fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Neil. Bye.
I will.
Okay.
All right.
What
Another
happened to
sweetheart.
Brady? Did he get to like
Two
there's
woman
too much
out.
estrogen for him?
Yeah.
He was, I don't know. He kept saying everything was lagging behind. Like
Yeah.
his video must have been really
He
slow.
had one drink and he had to probably go puke.
That's probably it. I said, check out and check back in, and he hasn't been able to check back in.
He's
So.
probably watching Groundhog Day.
Catch up, man.
Not now. No.
God, who hasn't seen that show?
I can't believe he hasn't seen
Oh.
that.
Especially if you're in weather. That's
I
crazy.
know. Dina, what's up? He went to Ohio State.
He's a
I
millennial.
love him.
That's
I love
it.
him
He's
and
a
I love making
millennial.
fun of him. But
Yeah.
Attention span.
You have to
That's it.
understand those movies are for us like watching Bob Hope shows or something like that.
Oh, that's so sad.
For the millennials. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
too bad.
heartbreaking.
All right. Geez, so that's a good question. Where is he? Because he's got to lead our WX resources. Did you guys come prepared tonight? Because if you noticed, last week, ladies, without you,
There was
Crickets.
never crickets.
Crickets.
none of us had a weather resource.
That was awesome. I have a weather resource. That's all.
I have a weather resource, and of course, I love my weather fools.
Good.
All
You know,
right.
that was good
I
for
live for
that.
those weather fools. I really love them.
So Kim and Dina, yes?
Yeah.
Maz,
Just-
just a question. Are you ever going to bring a weather resource? Or
Yeah, and
ever?
when I get it, you will be amazed.
You better fucking believe I will be amazed.
People will say, "Is that even legal?" No.
Wait, Matt says what?
Yeah, you know, I
Oh, you know
I
what
don't
it's
know that
gonna
I've
be.
ever. Maz has always done a good job for whatever reason. Every show that he doesn't bring one, and I've kind of noticed the show that okay, he didn't have any tonight. I just haven't really paid attention that he never has any.
Never.
So
Remember
he
that
has
one
a good-
time? Remember that one time?
he does a good job of
Neither do I. Neither do I. Yeah.
passing
Didn't he
it off and not remembering that he just never brings.
Sounds
one to the
like
table.
work.
Didn't
I
didn't
know.
you have that video of that Russian woman and takes her clothes off or something?
No,
You didn't have that weather resource, that Russian TV?
no, and we are still live.
Oh well.
That's the one weather fool that Maz has brought to the table for all
That's
46
it. Oh, yeah.
episodes.
Hey,
was
look
the
to the left of
Russian
the
woman taking her clothes off. And
Look
hey,
to the
we're
left of the
celebrating
screen.
women and girls in science day.
Oh wow, wow. Oh goodness.
All right, so do any of you want to take without Brady being here? Any of you want to lead weather fools? Maz, no, you're doing weather resources.
Yeah, you're taxing me as it is. You know.
All right, Kim or Dina, you guys want to lead weather
Oh,
fools?
I don't care.
I'll do it.
All right, Dina, you're
Well,
awesome.
no, you're the only one with a weather fool.
Oh, I am?
Yeah,
Oh,
All
that's
right,
gotta be
Kim's
Kim.
got to do it then.
Okay.
I have to do it.
No, all right.
Well,
oh, Maz,
somebody
you just
does.
do both.
What?
Yeah, have Maz. Just if
How
you
did
don't
that
have any.
happen?
God,
Since he
it's
doesn't
about
have any.
time.
Party with nothing.
Yes.
Right.
Wait.
That's what happens.
What's the other segment called?
Yeah.
All
right.
All right.
So coming out of break,
Yastrovia.
Maz, welcome back. Go ahead and introduce WX Resources. You got
Right.
Kim and Dina. And then don't forget it's episode 46, show notes.
Show notes.
And then lead into Weather Fools. Go ahead and introduce what Weather Fools is. And
So
you
I'll
got
do-
Dina.
Yeah, I'll do Kim, Dina, and then Dina.
Yep.
Beautiful.
That's it.
My husband won't like that, but okay.
Wow.
Woo!
All right.
She
very
did have a
good.
double. She
My
had a double.
pastor's watching.
I
Did have a double.
I
You're
did. I
right.
drank the whole thing.
Okay.
It's all gone.
All right, and then I've got listener questions and responses. I forgot to print them out, but I've got them on email here from MJ. So I will cover those, and then I will close us out.
Okay.
Rest of you good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Maz, I will count you in. You ready?
Yep.
All right, in 3, 2.
Welcome back to Stormfront Freaks podcast. Did I say that right, or did I kind of lisp it a little
You're
bit?
going on the blooper reel.
Am I? Okay. Welcome back. I'm drinking water too. Hey, so time now for weather resources. This is these are my two favorite segments. So I think I'll do both tonight.
Well, it's
just
your
for fun.
favorite segment, but you've been doing this for 46 shows, and it's WX resources,
What did I say?
weather resources.
You do know WX stands for weather.
But
don't
you understand there's a brand. There's a brand associated with it.
All right, take
Oh
two.
my God.
Not
There
a
we
very
go.
good one. Thanks.
Welcome back. Time now for WX resources. The most awesome places you can find on the internet that are related to weather or anything weather related, which is exactly the same thing, by the way. So here to kick us off first is Kim. You do have a resource, please.
I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do. All right, but okay, this is going to take some screen sharing, so give me a second here. Okay. I hit share. I hit my. You see it?
Yeah.
All right. Do you recognize this person, Dina?
John.
John
We had
Erdman.
him on. He's been on our show.
He has.
Yeah, before you. That was
Yeah,
before your
That was
time.
before me. Okay, well, maybe it's time to, bring him back. John, I've known John for a while. He was at the Weather Channel, as some of you may know, for a long time now. He's with IBM, but he is probably one of the smartest guys, too, as far as meteorologists are concerned. And I just love following him because he always has some great information on Twitter. And it's actually Jonathan Erdman. Let me see. I'm sorry. I missed that. On Twitter, it's Jonathan Erdman at WX. Yeah, WX, not weather. WX J Erdman. So he has always some great information. What I noticed about John, he always has a lot of precipitation amounts. So if you're into finding out how much rain, how much snow, John always has some good stuff. And he always, to me, anybody can follow him and understand what's going on. It's not like he's talking above you. He talks more conversational. And so I think even somebody who's not a meteorologist could follow John and get some good information. So I think John is awesome. He's a great guy. He's up there in Wisconsin right now. And
He's
Anyways,
got
a great
a ton
guy.
of followers.
he does. He absolutely does. 13,
Wow.
13 and a half.
Yeah, he
So
is.
John, he's a great meteorologist.
Knows
Was
his stuff.
actually in Atlanta for a while, but now he's up there in Wisconsin. But
Yeah, he worked. I mean, we work together, but he works remotely.
that's okay. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how lucky for him. So I know he's happy to go back to Wisconsin. But anyway, so John, I follow him. I think he's a great follow.
Before he was on our show, he had like 4 followers.
Are you serious?
It was Stormfront Freaks that really kicked it off.
Jonathan
Okay.
on line 1. No,
All right.
We made John.
We did. I love John. And
He
you know
was
what? He's a
great.
good guy. John's a
He
good
really was
guy.
Yeah.
good.
He's a
He
great
really was
guy.
good. And we should have, I agree. We need to have him on again.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's
We
cool.
had,
I'm glad you had
if I
him.
recall, we had him on during the anniversary of the Halloween. What year was that?
92?
91 or
91.
92. Yeah,
Yeah.
91 or the big Halloween
Yeah.
blizzard / nor'easter
Oh, yeah.
perfect storm. It was,
It was
called the
91,
Perfect Storm.
91,
Yeah.
91. Yeah.
And we had him on during that, so it was a lot of fun.
Oh, he's awesome. He's Wisconsin. He talks like a Wisconsin person. He's awesome. Anyway.
You've just ticked off one of the 50 states.
We're losing them left and
That's
right.
all Wisconsin.
We're down to like 4 states now, so no more. Okay, I won't even tell you which ones. All right, thank you, Kim. And
Okay,
Dina, you
cool.
got something too, right?
Yeah, let me share mine. Share. All right, so mine is from the National Weather Service, and it's really a place to get storm reports. For some reason, I didn't use this enough until recently, but it's weather.gov//CRH/snowmap.html. But we'll post it on our Stormfront Freaks page. But what I like about it is you can go like last 24 hours, 48, or 72, and it gives you a list off to the right. You can move the map around. You can zoom in. And this is probably really good for people who, even if they want to look just in a certain specific area, like, if they just want to say look in Massachusetts, and you can kind of see the numbers here. You could click on it. It'll give you the location and the time.
That's
you can move
awesome.
around. And I really like this because sometimes people like say, even for us either TV or digital or anything, we're looking for video. We see something in Illinois near Chicago or something. Then you can come here, look and see, oh, okay, Morton. We have video from Morton. Oh, I see a storm report for 4.8 inches. So I really like it. It's very helpful.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll keep that one.
Remember the days we had to add up on the observations? It's like every observation to add up snow
and
totals.
Did I add that 6-hour observation twice?
Exactly. Oh, I love all this.
Making me do math.
Yeah.
Forget it.
It's definitely ladies' night. You guys are rocking tonight.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Right.
All right. And of course,
We'll carry you, boys.
Yeah.
as usual, by the way. And in case you missed any of where to find those sites, you can check us out on WX Resources, episode 46 show notes. And that's where you'll find all of that. Okay, we got one weather fool for tonight. It's not Dina, but Dina has one.
What is a weather fool?
I love weather fools. It's my favorite. All right, so this is from liveleak.com. It's a snowmobile ice water swimming. So it starts off, this guy is like on a snowmobile. And if I can get it to play here.
Snowmobile ice water swimming.
Well,
that sounds like an Olympic sport.
He's trying to ride a snowmobile. And you could tell he's going right over like an icy pond.
Yeah.
I'm like, buddy, what are you thinking? They're not even, I don't even know. I wouldn't even want to walk on this ice.
Cool, man.
And you always got some guy in the background going, "Go, buddy!"
So cool. So cool. Oh, there goes your snowmobile.
Yeah, he's revving it and he's trying to get through it. And down he goes. So not only did he freeze his off,
he lost.
He's got a mullet too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and maybe he spilled his beer the whole time. I don't know, but I mean, come on. That's an expensive piece of machinery.
Yeah, it is.
I grew up in a town that was full of mullets back in Minnesota, and full of snowmobiles and full of ice-covered rivers with spots that would easily. And that probably was from my hometown.
Really?
It was you. I just didn't want to tell.
I love my hometown, but that was definitely probably from my hometown. Yeah, I definitely had a mullet back then.
It's always one of those things where like you hear somebody in the background go, "Dude, hold my beer."
Yeah.
And they do it.
Watch this.
Hold my beer. Watch this. I'm going to pop a wheelie on the ice. Damn, there goes my snowmobile.
Oh.
I love it.
All right. So Weather Fools, obviously self-explanatory on that one. And you can check out that video and more on our episode 46 show notes under Weather Fools. Is that it?
All right.
That's
that
it.
was awesome. Ladies, thanks for carrying us on Ladies' Night. I do want to mention to everybody, John Erdman was a guest on episode 13.
Oh, okay.
Titled, Because 14 is Just Too Many.
That's right.
What was that in reference? Oh, yeah, that was in episode 13.
I remember that.
All right, let me cover some listener questions and responses. MJ's not here tonight, so I got to cover for him. Nick Tarrant, I think is his last name. On Twitter, he's at Nicholas Tarrant, Tarrant. I'm now into my second blue Curacao Malibu Mountain Dew.
Okay.
Actually, if you look at it, it's kind of clear. There's not a whole lot of Diet Mountain Dew in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nick was on Twitter, and he sent out a tweet, said, "Why am I just now discovering Stormfront Freak podcast?"
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
And I
I took it personally because I thought, well, we got a pretty damn crappy marketing campaign, I guess. If he's now,
Do we have one?
that's a good point. That's a very good point. All right, then we got an email. This is from clickjohnd@gmail.com. He said, hello, guys and gals. Y'all should develop an app with like show notes and podcast and listener interactions. You certainly have the right demographics for a wide range of audiences. Maybe even a Freak of the Week segment for the best weather photo or something. Just a thought. And thanks for the shout out.
I like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
yeah.
I responded. I said, that's a great idea. We might steal that. Hope he doesn't have a copyright or trademark or anything on that. But Freak of the Week. That's pretty good.
We're taking it.
I don't think we want to have an app because that might actually make us money, Phil.
Yeah. What are you saying? What are you saying?
I know
Hey,
nothing.
no, listen, Freak of the Week. So what should we do? Should we do like a Freak of the Week photo of the week or
it could be
Fool of the
anything.
Week?
It could be.
It could be a person. Yeah, I don't know.
Tell you what, maybe we'll start that, and then like we do with our episode name, I'll send it out, and all the freaks can vote on it, and we can come up with maybe a Freak of the Week. But I want to thank John Click D for that. Then we got a message. Same person, Jay Click. Hey freaks, last episode was great as usual. Thanks for the shout out. You got another one. All right, then we got Luna Light, which this is Chris, by the way, from Germany, mentioned on Twitter, said, here we are, the link I couldn't share on the channel. I think it's worth a mention next time. Maybe this might reach more people. So we had been talking with the Storm Warriors and about recovery after a storm and helping people after a storm. And so the link she wanted to share was hotstickusa.com, which is
you might want to check that out first.
Can I check it out too?
Wow.
Hotstick USA. Hotstickusa.com. So here's what this really is. Now, if you go to the website, there's a picture of a hot stick.
Oh God!
What is a hot stick? That's all I want to know.
I wouldn't hashtag hot stick. That's for sure.
Did we just get pox or whatever they call it? Dogs? What do they call that? Spoofed? I don't know.
Punked.
Oh dear.
No, this is really
Punked. That's it. We just got punked. Oh man, Tina, it must be a guy thing. That's all I gotta say right now.
Those two are about
I didn't
tears.
say it. I didn't say it. Oh my God. All right. So what this is, all seriousness, this is a high sensitivity voltage detector.
All the places we can go with this.
Oh
Man, this is supposed to be our women and girls in science.
Does it require batteries?
Please do not let my pastor be watching tonight. Oh,
Got to charge.
It's got a charge.
It's for emergency responders.
The double A's.
Check voltage. If any downlines still are hot. I shouldn't say that either.
We went on a total tangent
Oh my God.
on that one.
Anyway.
Dina, save us, Dina. Save us.
Thanks to Chris. Hot
Oh,
stick.
grow up, you guys.
All right, and the last one, this is from Jennifer Mcmahon on Twitter. She's at Jen_Mcmahon. But Jennifer McMahon said, hey, fun and an informative show tonight. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Because, hey,
That's
I
awesome.
will say that the last show had no women in it.
that was
So-
from last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, hey, us guys, we're not just a pretty face, okay? We can carry
We're
a
not
show
just there to
too.
be stared at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Again.
Jeez.
Oh.
We can carry a show. All right. I think that should just about do it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. Thanks for listening and watching. Hey, before I tell you who our next guest is, if you enjoy the show, please do us a favor. Leave us a great review on your podcast app. And don't forget to subscribe to the show by hitting your podcast app subscribe button. What that does, it works just like a magazine or newspaper subscription. It assures the latest show gets delivered right to your inbox to listen the moment that it gets released. Would you guys all agree? And gals, thanks to our guest, Jen Carfagno.
Yeah.
And the great discussion, Dina and Kim. Thanks so much.
Sure.
You know, the hope was to have a show. We like to have fun on the show, obviously, and be entertaining, but it's good to also provide some education and inspire people. And hopefully tonight you all had a chance to do that. So I just really, honestly, I want to thank you for doing that.
Oh,
Yeah, it was fun.
So our next episode is in 2 weeks. It continues season 3.0. We'll be recording on February 22nd with drone storm chaser Ray Leichner.
Cool.
So Ray is a storm chaser, and he uses drones. He's got some great drone footage. I really think that's kind of the future of video footage for weather and even post storm situations. But if you'd like to watch the recording live, that one will be back at our normal time of 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check out our YouTube channel by searching Stormfront Freaks. So for Maz, Dina, Kim, and Brady, who we lost already, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear. We love you guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.
Night, everybody.
I think he had to feed his cat or something, didn't he?
Yes.
We'd be lost
You went and put a moisturizing mask on.
in the back.
Oh, Dina.
Oh,
It
man.
was too much girl stuff for him.
Hey, Dina and Kim, did you get? I'm sure you probably didn't, but watch the last episode. He had some kind of stuffed cat with a sombrero, or
Oh, yeah.
oh my god, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary.
He's a trip. Oh my
I love
God.
Brady, though.
Oh, all right.
He's classic.
Oh.
He's classic. Anyway, Dina and Kim, I do definitely thank you tonight,
Yeah.
because as much as we like to have fun,
Yeah.
I think tonight was a good show for hopefully actually doing more than just having fun and some education in the background. I think tonight was a little education with some fun in the background. So I appreciate
it was
that.
good.
Yep.
Good. We'll make sure we don't do it next time. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
We'll
Like,
give you guys some love next time too.
In the words of Manager Brown from Major League, don't ever fucking do it again.
Hey,
Nice
Phil, it really.
catchphrase.
And
Don't
I have
ever
to say-
fucking do it again.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
I thought what you picked for the lightning round was awesome.
Yeah, that's
You know,
perfect for Jen.
because
Well,
it was
of course you
perfect.
did. You had them all. You figured them all out.
No, I didn't have them all.
You did.
I only
You
knew one.
did.
I
Well,
only
okay.
knew one.
Sorry. No, not.
No,
You
but
had-
Jen, I know it was perfect for her being, she goes there every year.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
no,
I
I
didn't know
figured
she
that.
had 8 hats though.
I know.
She must get one every year. That is
She
cool.
does.
I want one. I want one. If you guys ever get up there to where is it? Puxatawny,
Puxatawny.
Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Do me a favor. I'll pay you back. Give me a hat.
All right.
Oh, I
Let
thought
me
of
know
a
what
drink
happens
name.
with Heather's book and
Oh, yeah.
where to send it. Because this is the signed copy. I've got the one.
So here's Dina. Here's what I'll do. So I'll post that. If not tonight, I'll post it tomorrow on Twitter and Facebook, like I've done with some of our other weather radios and all those other giveaways we've done. And I usually give it. I'll probably do 2 weeks. Till our next show. I'll do a 2-week repost or retweet this tweet kind of a deal, and everybody that follows us and retweets or reposts will be in the drawing, and then I'll just randomly run the numbers and pick somebody, and then I'll reach out to them, get their address, and then I'll give it to you so that you can send it to them.
And those listening right now are getting a head start, right?
Yeah, and
Well, they're not
Heather's
because
got
it's
a
not
heck of
posted
a
yet.
following.
It's not posted yet.
Oh,
So
okay.
I will do that, and I'll make sure I add her. Is she on Twitter?
Yeah, she's on
Okay.
Twitter, but I think she's like more on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll do
Yeah.
both. I'll
Yeah.
do Facebook and Twitter so that if she wants, she can retweet and repost.
Yeah, because she's
or
been
share.
posting about it. She's been posting a lot about it. So
Yeah. So I'll add her to that. If I have trouble finding her, I'll ask you and you can help me out with that.
Okay.
So all right,
Okay.
Kim, what's the name of the drink?
Filthy cow.
Oh God.
Wow.
Filthy cow.
Phil.
That
The
about-
cow. What's the name of the blue
Cow?
stuff?
It's Curacao.
Oh,
Curacao.
okay.
I mean,
Filthy
call it a filthy pig because of the sow. Don't call it a
Filthy
sow.
sow.
All
That's
right.
it.
We'll-
Phil,
we'll-
you like Phil.
If
like
you don't
Phil, your
mind,
name
I'll
is
keep
Phil.
taking suggestions for that.
I think a filthy
Oh,
sound
Lord.
is perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, you guys, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dina,
Night,
thank you.
Dina.
Good night.
All right,
Night,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you
Bye.
guys.
See ya. Dina, Kim, see you guys. Good night.